Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. It's the first video of 2023 and this one's going to be about sound for picture. So I've downloaded a little film clip from a site called Pixabay, which is a cool little site for getting royalty free footage and images, and you kind of do what you want with them kind of thing. So let me show you the video clip I've got first. I should say that this came with no sound on it and I've added all the sounds to it. So this is the clip. First of all, I had to put in a marker track for this, which is here, and add in all these little markers where sounds need to be placed. And all you need to do is just press insert on your keyboard and it adds a marker in. And you just click on the marker, and up here where it says description, just click on that and then type in what you want that marker to be. So I've lined up all these with these sounds as well. What you can do for a bit more accuracy, if I just press F8 to bring up the video window, if I click on this and move it around, you can see that it's moving frame by frame. So the first sound that I added was an atmosphere sound, because you can see that these robots are in look like transformers. They're in some sort of big facility, it looks like. And I needed something that sounded like there's machinery or generators going on in the background. And this is what the sound is. Right, I've got the original sample somewhere. Where is it? Atmosphere original. And that goes like this. Now, can you guess what that sound is? I'll tell you. It's this. Yes, it's my oven. So what did I do to that sound to make it sound like this? All I've really done is I've added some... Oh, wait a minute, let me see where the sound is on the mixer. There it is. I've really just added a lot of reverb to it. I've also changed the pitch of it as well. And all I've done there is just brought that into this sampler. Let me just... Where is the original atmosphere sound? Where is it? There it is. So I've just dragged that original sample into this sampler, and if I press middle C, see that little blue C there? That's the original sound. So all I've done is moved that down to, I think I moved it down to an F. Yeah, that F there, so just over an octave. And just played that in as MIDI and then rendered it as audio. And then I put the reverb on it, and now it sounds like this. So that's it, just changing the pitch of it and adding some reverb. Okay, next sound is for the footstep. That's the next marker. So this is really the sound of the robot that's walking towards the screen. Let me just mute that. And it sounds like this. And the original sound of that is this. And this is where I got that sound from. Yeah, the front door. Because I thought that I originally started using just big drums from, where is it? This plugin here, original cinematic percussion. Again, Spitfire audio. I love Spitfire. That's all I really use, and I think that's all I've used in these videos is Spitfire audio products. But they're absolutely amazing. So I tried using that, and it created a big boomy sound, but it just wasn't really cutting the mustard. So I wanted it to sound quite crunchy, and the front door, whenever you close it, the handle's quite loose, so it makes a sort of kind of a sound. So I thought that would work pretty well. And then adding processing onto that, again, I don't think I pitch shifted that. Let me just see the mixer. Oh yeah, I did. I used this little octaver thing. It just makes it sound a lot deeper As you can see, it's called, the preset's called the Deep. And then a lot of reverb on it, because reverb is kind of needed in this, because as you can see, that's a pretty big room that these guys are in. It looks like there's a lot of metal surfaces in it, so there's going to be a lot of echoes or reverberance. And then I added in just a little bit of EQ and boosted it about 3 kilohertz. So I'll play it, I'll turn all these off and play it, and then just add them in slowly. Add the octaver in, reverb, and the EQ. So without the EQ, whoops, I need to put that back to the beginning. Without EQ, with EQ. And that's it, that's all I've done for the footsteps. Now the next one was the sound of the joints in the legs, which is quite a, I wanted that typical robotics sound, you know, all that kind of stuff. And this is what it's like. And the original sound for that is this. And that sound is this. Chord from a vacuum cleaner. So all I've done there is, again, I think I did add this, done similar thing with the atmosphere sound, put it in a sampler and played it down a few semitones. And again, added in a little bit of EQ. What did I do? Yeah, it just took some of the high end off it. And good bit of reverb, and then put it through a guitar amp with an overdrive pedal, and it now sounds like this. That's it. So that's how you make a robot walk about. Lots of reverb, a front door, a vacuum cleaner cord, and a guitar amp. And all I've done is copied these exact same sounds and lined them all up for when the second little robot shows up. When does he show up? Round about... There he is. I had to time stretch the leg joint because this guy's moving slightly slower than the other one, just so the sound goes on a little longer. So sound number 3, what was that? Oh no, sound number 4, sorry, was the sound of steam. Because as you can see, there is a part where when this big robot walks past, there's a little, let me just move back a little bit. See this little bit up here? This little fire thing. This ends up exploding and lots of sparks and steam come flying out of it. Here we go. There it is. And the original sound is this. And this is where I got it from. And again, all I've done with that is added in a good bit of reverb. Where is the steam? There it is, some reverb and a little bit of EQ, just to take out some of the low end. And I believe I did put that in a sampler track as well, and played that about an octave lower. I think so anyway. So the next couple of sounds is really just the explosions. I did add in a couple of extra footsteps for that robot in the middle, because he takes a couple of steps. I didn't bother adding in the vacuum cleaner cord for that, because he does move quite quick. and footsteps are pretty short. Right, for the explosion sounds, all I did was use, where is it, cinematic percussion, and this is got really nice big drums in it. So I just recorded some of them in as MIDI and rendered them as audio. And if I can find, where is this first explosions? Here they are. I'll just unmute these. Explosion 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'll play all them along with the footage. There's the first one, the second one. Well, I'll come back to that in a minute. And the final one at the end. Right, there was an extra little sound in there which I forgot about, which is teleport noise. Because I noticed that this little second robot that comes in, he just sort of appears out of nowhere. There he is. If you go through it frame by frame, you can see that there he is. There's a little sort of sparky thing where he just appears from. Because when he appears, I wanted a something like that, and I just used something from cinematic percussion, like that, for when he actually appears. But the other sound before it, I didn't really know what to do. I wanted to kind of, I tried experimenting with reverse cymbals, but it wasn't really working. So I went with this. I found this in Spitfire Labs. Why is it not playing? Because it's not selected, that's why. That. So all I'm really doing there is just pressing down on a lot of keys. And I thought that actually works quite well. So the teleport sounds together sound like this. It seems to work. So now for the explosion sounds. Now these were all done pretty similar, with the same type of process. Let me just take you through all of them. First one, second one, big one for the third one, and the last one. Now I realised I've only got reverb on the third one. The reason for that is because it's a really big one. Maybe I should add some reverb to these other ones. Anyway, so how were those created? Basically all I did was use that cinematic percussion plugin and just pick a few random sounds, and then let me just mute that again. Right, bring up the mixer. That's the wrong button. There it is. Right, explosions. All I've really done, again, that one in the middle, I just added in a little bit of reverb. But all I've done, I haven't changed the pitch. I've just put them through some guitar amplifiers with a lot of gain on them. A couple of different amps, just to give them all a slightly different sound. And that's really it. That's all I've done, is just some guitar amplifiers and big massive drums. And that's how you create an explosion. Another thing that I did do was I've automated the volume for the first robot, because you can see that he's walking towards the camera and then he disappears behind the camera. So I've automated the volume so it sounds like you can still hear him, but he's walking behind you. Let's just have a little listen. If you're using headphones, you'll hear this a lot better. Goes, and then he disappears. Turn the volume down. There we go. And I've also automated the second robot as well, because he's moving from the right side of the screen to the left. So on the right, getting closer to the middle, and then he's on the left. And I've panned some of the explosions as well. So the first one happens on the right, so that's panned slightly to the right, about halfway. The second one slightly to the left, third to the right. It's sort of more in the middle, so I've not gone too far to the right. And again, on the left for the fourth one. Right, so let's just have a little watch of the full thing with all the sounds on again. So there we have it, folks. How do you make the sound of big robots walking about? Use a front door and a vacuum cleaner cord. For steam, just use an aerosol can. For explosions, big massive drums fed through guitar amplifiers with lots of gain. And for atmosphere, just use the oven. If you like this type of content, please remember to subscribe and like, and I'll be back very soon doing some more Let's Write Some Music videos. I might jump back into FL Studio for that, maybe steer away from the orchestral stuff. I haven't decided yet. Let me know in the comments the kind of thing you'd like to see. So thanks again for watching, folks, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers, bye bye.